we think that what we're talking about is common knowledge because it makes so much sense. It's like, why would you not do this? But it's not common knowledge because everybody doesn't do it. Welcome to Empowered Homefront, where we talk about health, wealth, and relationships, and let's not forget about faith. And today we have a special guest. This is my lovely daughter, Kaylee.
Yep.
Kaylee, you want to say hi?
Yep. My name's Kaylee, and I'm excited.
And this is like the second time that she actually sat down on a mic with me. Last time was about a year ago. It was longer than that, 2 years ago. Oh my goodness. She's super excited. And I asked her, I'm like, hey, Kaylee, I really want to start doing the podcast with you, but I need you to do this thing. And she's 12 now.
I created a whole sheet of notes just for y'all guys. So I'm super excited to share these with you.
I'm excited too. And she's going to be leading the podcast. So take it away, Kaylee. What are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about a big thing. Everyone knows about it. Some people like it and some people don't. This thing is called
cookies.
Sharing.
Oh, not cookies.
Okay. Yeah, cookies we all like, right?
Well,
we gotta have
cookies.
Don't. We gotta have cookies. Cookies are good. Okay. Today we're gonna talk about something called sharing. And we've all heard the phrase, right, Dad? Sharing is caring. Right?
Nope.
You haven't heard that?
I don't share. Especially my food.
Yeah. Well, personally, do you like sharing, Dad?
Do I like sharing?
Yeah, do you like sharing?
I like sharing to an extent.
Yeah. What is that extent?
I'm not sharing my food.
Well, so the reason I have decided to do sharing is based off one thing. So this happened last night, and my friend told me that I never shared. And that led me to say, what's wrong with not sharing your stuff? I mean, it's your stuff. Who makes you have to share? I mean, no one should make you have to share. Unless if it's like things that aren't only yours, that are everybody's. Then you should share, like food. Not food.
So you're saying like community items?
Yeah, community items.
Okay.
Like game boards that we have as a family.
Yeah.
And toys that all of us bought with all of our money.
Well, let me help you. What exactly are you trying to say here?
That no one should make you share things that are personally...
So no one should make you share your what?
No one should
your
make
shirt?
you... No. No one should
your
make
pants?
you... Yes. No one should make you share those. That would be awkward.
Okay.
Unless if you like...
So what are you trying to say though, seriously?
No one should make you share things that are very, very, very special to you.
Okay.
Yeah, no one should make you share things that are special and unique to you.
Like your toothbrush.
I don't know who wants to use your toothbrush, but okay.
Well, give us some examples. So
Okay.
Exactly what you're talking about. Like, give me an item and then tell me where this item places on the sharing thing. And then give me another item and explain to me where that item lies on the sharing thing. Because it almost sounds like you have a list or a range of something like, hey, this stuff up here, you cannot share this for this reason. This stuff down here, like, you should have no problem sharing. Sounds like that's what you're trying to explain.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so let me give y'all an example. So I have a notebook, and most friends take this notebook and draw in it but this notebook is very special to me because this is where I keep my notes for my faith and for God and things that are special because God gave them to me.
Is this a diary?
for God, basically.
Okay.
A diary for faith.
Okay.
And, well, that thing you shouldn't have to share with friends because they might scribble on your notes. I know Jackson, my younger brother, did.
Well, that would be considered private items, correct?
Yeah.
So it's something that's private that you have just for you.
Yes.
Okay.
And things that are near the bottom items that you should have no problem sharing is like mouthwash.
Mouthwash. Is this mouthwash in the same cup or in the bottle?
Different cup.
Different cup.
Yeah,
Okay, not the same cup.
Yeah,
okay.
you pour it in a cup and then you go.
Glad we solved that riddle.
Okay. And another thing is like in the middle where it's special to you, but at the same time you might be able to share and you might not, depending on.
And I'm guessing when you talk about sharing mouthwash, because I mean, would you want to share a bottle of mouthwash with a stranger?
No.
But maybe with your brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you pour some in a cup and give it to your friend that's having a sleepover.
Okay.
Yeah. Things like that.
All right. And what's in the middle?
And the middle is like paper. Where do you give that? Like paper that special. I have special paper and it's really pretty paper. And I let other people use my paper to take notes and things like that. Now, if you're limited on it and you have like few pieces left, then that's maybe something you want to keep to yourself until you use it. So
essentially, you got some paper that you use for arts and craft, and you don't have a lot of paper. Like this paper isn't like white plain sheets of paper that are just like you've got a whole stack. Yeah. It's like you've got like 5 pieces.
Yeah. Okay. And then other people want to use them for notes, but you have to be like, no, I have very few pieces of paper. I can give you one, but that's it.
Okay. So this paper is special because it's limited. Yeah. And you have a certain purpose to use that paper, so you don't want to share that paper with a friend just so they can draw on it. Yeah. Okay. What else we got?
Let's say your bedroom. We'll take this for example. Who shares a bedroom? I know my brothers do, and I know you and Mama do, right? Mm-hmm. So.
And you and the dog, Lily.
How dare you? I should throw something at you. Like your bedroom. Let's say you're sharing a bedroom with your younger sister or your younger brother. Or like I did, I shared my bedroom with my cousin for almost a month. And yes, it gets... Sometimes people don't respect your boundaries. I'm just going to lead with that. Sometimes people do not respect your boundaries and they say, you have to share. You have to share. And yes, you should share. And yes, you should care. But you shouldn't... No one should make you share things that are special and you really care about. Like your favorite baby doll, your favorite Barbie doll, your favorite stuffed animal, or like for boys, their favorite knives. Right? Like no one should make you share those special items to you.
Yeah. Okay. You struggling?
Yes, I am.
You're doing good though. You did good. All right. So I think a while ago, I mean, this has been, I don't even remember when this conversation happened, but I remember having it with you and the boys where we talked about things that are mine, things that are mama's, things that are y'all's. And it was based off of this. Like y'all kept biting each other's heads off because y'all had stuff and you're like, stay out of my room. And the boy's like, well, you're not invited to my birthday party. And you're like, I live here. You know, it made no sense. And I remember explaining to y'all that we have to protect our domain.
Yes.
So this house, it's not my house. It's not your mama's house. It's not your house. It is our house. Right?
Our is the key word.
Yeah. So we're a family. Now, I do pay the bills.
Yes.
I make the money. Mama pays the bills actually with
We all have
with
a
my
role.
money.
We all have a role in this house. Our role is to keep the house clean and organized. Your role is to, yours and Mama's role is to help pay for the bills, and so is ours. Like, we come to the apartments and help y'all clean up it. That way we can make money.
Yeah. Yeah. So we all have our part to play. Now, the thing that we need to separate is when does that line get crossed? Because you mentioned earlier, like with your cousin, like some boundaries got crossed. And now all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to share my stuff with you anymore because you're not respecting it.
Yes.
Right. So with the house and yard, right? So we have a house and we all 5 live inside this house. And if y'all do not pick up your dishes, if you spill a drink and you're not wiping up the water off the floor to prevent the floor from getting messed up, what happens?
We get in trouble.
Y'all get in trouble. And why do you get in trouble?
Because we didn't respect our things.
And now it no longer is your things. Instead, since I'm the one that cares about it, it is
mine,
not yours.
Yours.
Right? Because ultimately, I am responsible for it.
Yeah.
So because I am responsible for it, I'm not going to let someone who doesn't have any respect disrespect my house. And it doesn't matter who it is, correct?
Yeah.
So when you talk about like, when is it okay to share? When is it okay not to share? And then you talk about, hey, I got some items where I just don't want people using them. Well, the reason you don't want them to use them is it not because you don't trust them to take care and to respect your things?
Yeah.
So, for instance, if somebody grabs your doll that you love so much and then they're playing with it and they just throw it down on the floor and walk away from it, what happens next time they try to pick up your doll and try to play with your doll?
We're going to yell at them.
Right. Because
she disrespected our stuff.
Right. So now we have a thing.
Boundary crossed.
And boundaries are crossed because of the lack of
respect.
Right. So it's like our yard. I own this property, right? There's a boundary on this property. If somebody walks on this property and throws trash down,
then they're disrespecting our property.
Right. And I have every right to go out there and tell them to pick up their trash.
Yes.
And if they don't pick up their trash, I have every right to tell them to get off my land.
You literally made the beep sign. You went beep.
But those are boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And if you disrespect my domain, I'm going to stand up and protect my domain.
Yeah. I'm just going to add this in there. It's like the whole thing with our dog, Lily. So we got our dog, and for the first couple of weeks we fed her. We fed her every day. But then all of a sudden we stopped feeding her. So Mom,
what?
We didn't stop feeding her. Mom kept feeding her.
They say this dog lives without eating food because she's fat.
She's not fat. She has a lot of hair.
That's true.
A lot of hair. Like you are your legs, not your head. Okay.
No comment.
Anyways, Lily, our dog, my mom sat us all down, me and my brothers down, and said if we stopped feeding her and we didn't feed her every day, lunch, dinner, and breakfast, then we wouldn't be able to play with her, touch her, or anything. She would be
She's going to take your dog away.
Yeah.
Because
we didn't respect her or did the things that we needed to do for that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, when you started this, I believe that one of the points you wanted to make was, why should I share things that are important to me?
Huh?
I believe one of the things that you wanted to share and points you make is like, why should I share things that are important to me? Because like you started breaking down these levels in some weird way, but like, if you invite your cousin over, well, now you are hosting your cousin as a guest in the house, so you want to make her feel comfortable. So anything she wants, are you going to let her use it?
Okay. I'm going to stop you right there, which you already stopped. So, but if you would guess, yes, you should let them get stuff like cups and plates and do that. And if they spill a drink, have them clean it up. There is no harm of them doing some extra work to help clean up their messes or washing the dishes. We had help wash the dishes at our house.
Let's not use any names.
Yep. That was a fake name. Her real name is actually something else. Anyways, we had her help us clean up the house. And if she made a mess, she knew she had to clean it up.
Right.
And there's our dog. Anyways, she helped clean up things. But then boundaries started getting crossed because she wanted to share something that wasn't hers to decide if it was to not be shared or to share.
Okay. And can you share what that thing was?
A blanket. It was literally over a blanket.
She wanted to share the blanket? Or
no, she didn't want to share the blanket. She wanted it all to herself.
Whose blanket was it?
Ours.
It was our blanket, and she wouldn't share you with our own blanket.
Yeah, it was the big red one.
So this blanket was big enough for both of y'all?
It was big enough for all 5 of us.
All 5 of us, but she wanted it all for her.
Yeah.
And y'all got into a disagreement over this?
Yes. And later, we all apologized, but...
Who apologized first?
I don't remember. I think it was one of the boys.
Okay.
But, like, it was over something so small. And, I mean, should you really not share something that was big and that could be...
Did she have a reason why she didn't want to share it?
She said she was cold. I guess that's one.
So when she shared the blanket, did that prevent her from being completely covered up?
No.
So there's no reason?
I don't know the reason.
Did you ask?
No. I should have probably done that.
Right? So anytime we don't understand something, like somebody else's motives or what they do, we should always just ask the question.
And listen.
Yep. Before we speak.
Because listening encourage individuals to know what the other person's feeling, thinking, and what they want and not want to share.
Yeah, perfect. So in short, to wrap up the whole when should you share and when should you not, can you give the listeners exactly what that boundary is and what they should really process in their mind to make a decision on when to share and when should not?
Okay, so you should share things. I'll give you 3 items for each. Middle, things that you shouldn't share, things that you could share, depending on what they are.
What about just defining?
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, defining respect.
Okay. So, as Dad said, we should define what respect is. So respect is like my brother was in there swinging on my bunk bed, and he was bored. So I said, "Go play with my Legos."
Stop spinning.
Okay. And I said, "Go play with my Legos." The only thing whenever they go play with my Legos or anything of mine is I ask them 2 things. 1, always put them back where you found them and how you found them. Unless if it's a toy inside a toy brand. But always put them back where you found them. And do not break it. Do not break it is the biggest thing of mine.
Do they break your stuff?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But
when?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I know they broke stuff of mine.
Have you broke stuff of theirs?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like
Yeah. Was it on purpose though?
No, it was on accident. And that's where it's easy to forgive.
But if somebody breaks your stuff on purpose,
that's a different story.
Because that is
disrespect.
That's right. And we don't tolerate being disrespected.
No.
But also, we don't make a big deal out of people
Yeah.
who just want attention.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. So, in short, to wrap this up, you have a right to defend your belongings, right? We're Americans, and therefore we live in a free country, and therefore we have a right to defend our country. And if someone comes into our country and disrespects our land, we will defend that land till death. But also, it travels into the household where we own property. And if someone disrespects our property, we will defend that property. We have family, we have loved ones. Somebody disrespects our friends or loved ones, we will defend our friends and loved ones. Now, what is disrespect? It's essentially not treating things as though they are yours and being taken care of, right? So we got to be careful of that, right? We can't just say, well, you need to treat it as though it's yours, because people may not treat their belongings that good. They may not take care of their belongings the same way that you take care of it. So therefore, whenever somebody does disrespect something, you have to ask the question, hey, we don't do that here. So for instance, in our house, we do not wear shoes in our house because that is disgusting. And if you allow people to walk around your house with shoes on, I want you to think about them walking into a public restroom where men with little things pee on the floor and women pee on the floor too, which I don't know how that happens, but it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
And it is on your shoes. And then they come inside your house and walk around on the floor. And everybody goes into a public restroom. Everybody. So y'all just think about that whenever that happens. So anyway, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
So what happens whenever somebody comes in our house and keeps their shoes on? Kids, adults, old people.
I'll take this for example. So I babysit and they come in my house. Sometimes I miss it. And they take their shoes and they go in the living room. Whenever I catch them with their shoes, I just go ask them very politely, hey, please go take your shoes off by the door. Yeah. And they are super polite and go take their shoes off.
Yeah. And most of the time they apologize, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, the crazy thing is, you know, teaching good habits. Like y'all, I teach y'all good habits. So when y'all go to somebody else's house, you take your shoes off.
Yeah.
And majority of the time, they always go, oh, you don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. I will never do that. I will never tell you, you do not have to take your shoes off in my house. Right? Yeah. Like that's something that's a no-go, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, though, everybody doesn't follow that principle. So like to my point, everybody doesn't take care of things the same way. So even though I'm saying like, hey, we will defend our things if we are disrespected.
Same way no one plays the same.
Exactly.
No one has the same imagination.
Because of that, because there are differences, before we get mad and before we point the finger, ask the question. And if you are not man or woman enough to ask the question.
What?
Well, you're just going to have to become man or woman enough to ask the question, right? So, for instance, the cousin thing with the blanket, you can't really get mad at her because you didn't ask her the question.
Yeah. Why do you not want to share this?
That's right. Hey, if you was to share that blanket with me, what would you lose? What would happen?
Yeah.
Right?
And then that makes them think, and then they're like, okay,
yeah,
come and sit down with me.
Yeah. Right? Or because she's a guest and you know that she's uncomfortable, maybe get up and just go get another blanket and come back and just not even make the situation a situation.
Yeah.
Right? And then vice versa, if you was in her shoes and you was at somebody else's house, I would be very disappointed in you if you did that to somebody else, right? If you refused to share their own blanket.
Yeah.
Right? Because most likely she had no reason to do that. It was just, she wanted it all for herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most likely. And if that was you, and I would expect for you to just be a little bit uncomfortable for one night and then make a better decision the next day, right?
Yeah.
Say, hey, last night I got really cold because I had to share this big blanket with y'all. I need an extra blanket, please. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I lose you?
No.
Did I get you thinking?
Yes.
I see something. I was like, what happened?
I'm like, yeah.
Right. This stuff we think, this is what's crazy, Kaylee. We think that what we're talking about is common knowledge because it makes so much sense. It's like, why would you not do this? But it's not common knowledge because everybody doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And the reason that everybody doesn't do it is because the values and standards that we live by in today's age is so much lower than they used to be. And therefore, in Empowered Homefront, we're on a mission to bring values and standards back up to a level that we can be proud of. Right?
Yeah. And I want to cover something else with you, Dad. So.
You may not have my blanket.
Well, it wasn't about that. So we covered if someone else hasn't shared with you, right? Or if you don't want to share with them. But what if someone says that you have to share with them? What do you do then?
Well, depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Right? Why should I have to?
Yeah.
Is it hurting anything to share?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We should all be taking care of people. Right? We should all. Is this for me to answer or did you want to answer it?
You can answer.
I didn't know. I didn't want to overstep. Like,
No.
if you got a point that you want to make. Right?
No, the only reason I was asking, because as I said a little while ago, at church one night, my friend told me that I had to share my notebook. And I was like, no. Right? And shall we wrap up? Shall we start wrapping up?
I'm so confused. Are you not in the middle of a story?
No.
You're not in the middle of a story?
Okay.
You literally just started a story about you and your friend and sharing a notebook. And now all of a sudden you want to end it? Like, what?
Well, okay. So, my friend told me I had to share. That I never shared. But at the same time, I knew that wasn't true because I offer to other people. Do you want to share my Bible? Do you want to share some of my chips? Because I'm not going to eat them all. Do you want to share my pins? But she has an idea that I don't share because sometimes I don't want to share. It's like, I'm not in the mood for sharing. I don't want to put all this stuff up. Can't you just respect that? And if you don't respect other people's things and wishes that they things that they don't want to share, and sometimes they want to share and sometimes they don't, I don't see a problem with that. Because there was a lot of pins and she wanted to get all of them out, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to put all these up.
Okay, so essentially you just didn't want to deal with what it took to get them out. And then whatever she wanted, she just wanted a piece of paper?
Out of my notebook, yes.
And you didn't want to tear a piece of paper out of your notebook?
I did that.
You did do that.
She took my notebook and then took a pen and started coloring inside my notebook, and then I snatched it away before she can, because she was doing it close to my notes.
Okay, so that was your notebook and you just didn't want her doing that?
Yeah.
But she didn't ask if she should do that?
She just snatched it.
Right, so that's the lack of her not learning the lesson of what it means to respect other people's belongings.
Yes.
Because there's not a world out there where that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, if she was a better friend to you, then she would know that you're very particular about your notebook.
Yeah.
And then, therefore, if she was a good friend, then she would have respect for your notebook and would not do that anyway. Right? So, got an error. So, with the whole notebook situation, yeah, that just sounds like she has not learned the life lesson of what it means to respect others' belongings. Yeah. And what you did, like, if you don't want to share, and I think that's what kind of stemmed this, I think you kind of want confirmation.
Yeah.
And yeah. So the confirmation I would give you is sometimes you just got to reflect on yourself and literally relive that event and be like, it bothers me because I know she got upset, but at the same time, like, I just didn't want to do that. And why couldn't she just respect my wishes? Why did I have to bend to her wishes? And that's a never ending battle, right? Never ending battle. So there comes a point in time where you just got to realize that some people you will just never make happy. And, there's a rule. If it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes worrying about it.
That's a good rule.
Yeah. Right. So like, how I cut out all drama in my life. And I tell y'all that, right? Like your mama loves some drama. And like, she'll,
because it just relives the moment over and over. And it's like,
well, no, there's no importance of drama. It's kind of like that little situation right there with the girl who wants your notebook and who apparently gets mad at you, right? Yeah. And then says some stuff to you that makes you feel bad. And now you're second guessing yourself. That's the same thing I asked you about boys. Do they meet your standards? Are they somebody that you respect and you look up to and you're trying to become like? Because if the answer is no, why would you spend more than 5 minutes worrying about them?
Yeah. Which I didn't. I forgave them in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like it's over and done with, right? Don't spend and waste precious energy on low value things.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you hurt somebody's feelings and, whatever, I mean, again,
go and apologize.
Yeah, go apologize, even if it's not your fault. Yeah. And just move on and just don't spend time with that person anymore. Because, again, it's a low mental, I want to say IQ, but it's not really IQ. It's, I guess, EQ, right? EQ stands for emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
So it's a low EQ, right? Emotional intelligence of that person. But again, it goes back to, is this somebody that you want in your inner circle? Right? Is this somebody you want to be around? Because if the answer is no, apologize, make it as least abrasive as possible, and move on. Essentially what I'm saying is save face, right? Make sure that you look as good as possible to them and you don't burn any bridges and just move on. Right?
Yeah.
Me, myself, I made a mistake where I burned a lot of bridges because I had this, I don't care about you attitude. And I was just going to do whatever I want to do. Right? And funny enough, like looking back on it, I never really burned a bridge that really mattered because none of those people actually have anything of value to give me. Right? But at the same time, I never saved face. So now when I reflect back on those situations, I'm like, Eric, you could have handled that situation better.
Yeah.
You could have done better by those other people, even though if you look at it, neither one of you were in the right.
Yeah.
And because neither one of you is in the right,
each of y'all could have apologized.
Yes, but it's only going to be one that apologizes because both people can have that whole attitude of, well, you just don't matter or whatever, I'm leaving. Right? Yeah. And instead, what I'm telling you is,
one person could come back and tell them, I'm sorry, they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, didn't mean that.
Well, they'll be like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Right? That's exactly what they would do. Be like, oh, it's no big deal. Right? But if that closing that door doesn't happen, then it leaves. And then, that's where, I used to lay in bed losing sleep over conversations that happened because I'm like, I know I could have handled that better. And I would lay in bed and just reliving that scenario. And it's just like, I should have said this. I should have said that. And there's not a person alive that doesn't happen to. Right? Mm-hmm. It would happen way less if you learn at a young age, like you're learning, hey, if this doesn't really matter and I don't need to win this battle, I'm going to lose this battle. That way I can win the war.
Yeah.
Right? The war is a much better fight. Right? And we can call war living life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to live life to the fullest, then I'm not going to sit here and make a big deal about somebody getting mad at me for not sharing my notebook. Instead, hey, you're right. I'm wrong. I should have shared my notebook. But hey, we're leaving now. I'll see you next Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. Like even you coming up with this podcast, like you laid out this format, like I can tell that you probably lost a little bit of not actual sleep, but like you're spending time
Yeah.
reliving that moment. And you're like,
Yeah.
man, what could I have done better?
Yeah. But
Which
at
is
the same
perfect
time.
because that's growth.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel now?
Better. Now I kind of know the things that
What
you should
things?
share. Things that you should share, that you should be okay to share. And you should always kind of find a middle between everything. What I mean by that is like notebook, tear a piece of paper out. They don't want that. Don't spend a lot of time about it.
Beautiful. Perfect. Absolutely. All right, baby, you want to sign us out?
Yep. And by the way, I want to say one thing. So, to all those people that say sharing is caring and you should share your stuff, what about this one instead? Sharing creates connection. Because that's what we were talking about. Sharing creates the bridge that makes a friendship.
I love that. I love that. Sharing is connection. Connecting is sharing.
Yeah. Powerful,
Nice.
isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. Good job, baby.
Well, hope to see y'all around. Bye.
Where are you going to see them at?
Podcast.
You don't see anybody, though.
Okay. I hope y'all will see me around. Bye.
Bye. Not today, Satan.